Okay, so here we are back with part two of my fabulous Happy Mail, spring Happy Mail from Angie. So she has sent me the most gorgeous junk journal here. Now, as you know, she uses a lot of things from Denise's shop, A Tattered Dream on Etsy, and I'm going to link Denise's shop below so that you can go and check her out. But Angie just has the most beautiful vintage finds and vintage laces, and she does the most gorgeous layering. So I think this will take quite a while to go through, so I wanted to give it enough time to get through it. Now look at that layering. So this is the front cover, and so this piece is all kind of on the second page. So I love that. I love that kind of irregular the irregular layering. I love that. So Angie said to me, she sent me a little message and said that the theme of this was the mail must get through. And the reason for that is because when she sent me the Christmas Happy Mail that she sent me, the parcel went missing for about 20 days between where she is and where I am. And it was very stressful for Angie and also for me because we just didn't know where it was. And it finally made its way back to Angie. She had to repackage it and then sent it to me, and of course got here no problem. However, so this is the theme of her journal this time, which is directly as a result of our little fright at Christmas time. So you can see here, this is part of a vintage, I think Angie said it was a vintage christening gown. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that lace. Just so beautiful. And then, so let's start here. So she's used binder rings and she's used this beautiful lace just on the side. And then I love that you've used jeans here, Angie. I think that's fabulous. I love the lace with the jeans and the corrugated cardboard here. And look at all the layering she's done here. And then she's got, I guess that's a drawer pull maybe, and this old key and some fabric, and she's done all kinds of stitching, as you can see. And then she's got this old hanky. Isn't that beautiful? She's done a little stitch on it, and this old pin, safety pin. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. And I can't remember, I think that's a vintage. Angie, forgive me. I know you told me about this hanky, but it is a vintage hanky. Isn't that beautiful? Just gorgeous. So look at that cover, guys. Ugh. So going inside, again, she's got lots of layering here and this beautiful cotton lace and one of those beautiful doilies that she's given me as well. And then she's pinned, look at this. Then she's pinned, used one of Denise's garment pins. You can see that at the top there with a little bead on the end and this little chain. And that's some old jewelry, I think she said she found. Isn't that beautiful? Angie, my goodness, you are just so creative with the things that you have. It's unbelievable. And then she's filled this with these little paper bag journals, which I love. And so she's used some old child's writing book pages and some bling here. And this postcard. Love is all you need. Isn't that the truth? And boy, we need that more nowadays than ever, I think. And these are all, again, bags and things from Denise's store. Isn't that great, that little girl? So sweet. And then this is, I love how you folded that, Angie. That's great. That's from Denise's store, and I think these tags are as well. And these little clips, number 4. I love that. And here's another paper bag. Oh, I see you've made it into a page. Okay, so it's not a bag. And here's another bag with one of the alterations tags. And then this check, that vintage check. Isn't that cool? And then a beautiful doily. Again, from Denise's shop. Isn't that gorgeous? Angie, I honestly, you get the best coffee dyeing on your pages. My goodness. And there's some of her vintage ledger paper that she has. Seek Joy. That little girl, isn't she the sweetest? And it looks like she's used some gesso on these pages as well. And the other half of that tag and that paper. And then at the back here, she's again got more of that vintage ledger and just some old ticking and that safety pin. Now I think, if I remember correctly, that this journal is made from, there's pieces of a vintage, I think it was either a flour sack or a sugar sack that she got. So that's what these pieces are, I believe. And then she's got this vintage library card, index card. And then in this glassine envelope, she's got the other half, or other part at least, of that alterations tag. And then she's just layered the back there with some music paper. And then here, look at this. Isn't this great? She's got this stick that she's sewn on with this beautiful doily. And then these vintage buttons. She has lots of vintage buttons too. And then inside, let me just make sure that she's got some vintage pages here. Isn't that great? 1954. Vintage, I guess, book pages that she's just tied here in this time card. Let me make sure. I think that was everything. So isn't that great? Look at this gorgeous envelope that she's used for the other page. Isn't that beautiful? And then she's got it all stitched around. Can you see that? I really need to get my sewing machine going. I got one and it just kind of gave me a problem, and I just don't have a lot of patience, so I haven't been back to it, but I should, because I really love the sewing in journals like this. So you see, the mail must go through. Love that, Angie. So appropriate. Look at this beautiful trim, and just look at how she's layered this old piece of a quilt and old doily here with this rusted safety pin. Angie, I want to know how you rust your safety pins. Maybe you buy them that way, or maybe they are truly old and rusted. But I would love to know how you get that look. They're beautiful. And then this is a bag, I believe from Denise's store, along with this doily. And look at the beautiful little picture of the little girl. Oh, so sweet. And then she's got some vintage paper, some of that vintage ledger paper. Again, another little booklet that she's made here. Look at that. Isn't that great? I'm just watching the time here, you know. It looks like this is going to be a two-part chunk journal as well. And then that little girl. Live simply, be grateful, give love, laugh lots. Absolutely. How beautiful. And this is, I think this is tracing. Is it tracing paper? No, I guess it's just regular paper, coffee dye. And a time card. I think that's tracing paper. Beautiful. And another vintage image there. Those are fabulous. And then the back, which is that vintage ledger paper. And then the other thing that she's added is just another vintage receipt. And again on the back, she's got more of that vintage ledger. And look at this little girl, isn't she sweet? I love the layering, Angie, that you do just with you know, your background papers, and then the sewing and the images, and then this tag that she's done. Look at that. That's more of that, I think it's spelling book paper, and more of that old quilt. And that button and this beautiful lace that she's added. Isn't that fabulous? Wow. And then here, again, another tag with more of her paper and button. Vintage Finds. And then look at this beautiful, that's just sheer embroidered fabric. And that's an old letter at the top there. And then this receipt, I guess the doctor's prescription, and that picture of that girl. And then over here, she's got this bottle cap and another old button. And more of that book page. And then in here is this, I think this is the vintage bag that she used. The layering that she does, the sewing, and it's just beautiful. Look at that. And that graph paper, not graph paper, ledger paper. And she's stamped on the back here. Isn't this beautiful? And that postcard. And another vintage receipt. Oh, so beautiful, Angie. Thank you so much. I love how you've added that button to that pin. And then these are from Denise's store. Oh, and look at how sweet that is. You've added that to the center. Love that. And then another vintage image here. And again, another one. I love all these vintage ledger sheets. Isn't that fabulous? Oops. There we go. And look at this. Now, is this not amazing? Okay, you know what? I'm going to break here just because we're getting close to our 15 minutes, so I will be right back to finish this off.